Myself, K.Swapna, PGT Physical Science from TSRS and JC, Boys, Enkoor. Children, today we discuss about 9th class, 2nd chapter, motion, part 2. Children, yesterday we have discussed about the motion and rest. Then we have discussed about the distance and displacement. Actually, all objects has two states. One is the motion state, another one is the rest state. When we call the object has in motion state and when we call the object has in rest state, when the object position is changing continuously with time and relative to an observer, that time we call the object has in motion. Okay, now children, when the object position is changing with respect to time and observer, that time we call the object has in motion and rest. When we call the object has in rest, when the object position is not changing with respect to time and an observer, that time we call the object has at rest. Okay, now clear it? Next topic is distance and displacement. Distance. What is the differences? Already we have learned yesterday the definitions of distance and displacement. Now we will learn about the differences between the distance and displacement. Distance. What is the meaning of definition of distance? Distance means the length of actual path covered by the body is called distance. The length of actual path covered by the body is called distance. And distance is a scalar quantity. Scalar quantity means what? Physical quantities are divided into two types. One is the scalar quantity, another one is the vector quantity. Already we have discussed about it last class. Scalar quantities means the quantities, the physical quantities which has only magnitude but no direction, that we call the scalar quantities. And the distance is never be negative. Never be negative means what? It is always positive. The distance value is always positive. Next, displacement. Displacement means what? The shortest distance between the initial and final point is called the displacement. And the displacement is vector quantity. Vector quantity means what? Vector quantity means it has both magnitude and direction. That type of quantities we call vector quantities. Magnitude means what? Value. That means vector quantities contain some value and direction. Okay, now next, the displacement may be 0 and negative or positive. Displacement value is either 0 or negative or positive. So if we know this distance value is never be negative, and the displacement value is either 0, negative, positive. To understand this statement, we will discuss some numerical problems. See, children. Here, look at the scale, observe the scale. Question. If an object travels from O to Q and Q to P, what is the distance and displacement? See here one scale, observe this, this is the O origin, and the right side of the origin, their positive values is present, and the left side of the origin, negative values is there, and on the scale, mention the points O, P, Q, R, like that. Suppose if an object, when we are taking one object on the scale, travel from O to Q. O to Q. The object is traveling from O to Q. And then object is travel then Q to P. Q to P. So find out the distance and displacement of the object. So distance, we know what is the definition of distance? Distance means the total path traveled by the object. Total path means this OQ and QP. The length of the OQ and the length of the QP. This total length we call, this total path we call distance. So find out the distance. At first we find out the distance. Distance is equal to OQ plus QP. The object traveled at first from O to Q, and then after it traveled from Q to P. So the total sum of the OQ length and QP length we call distance. OQ. From O to Q, how much distance is? Suppose it is Q has a positive 80 meters plus QP. QP distance 80 minus 40 meters. OQ distance is 80 and QP distance is 40. Total distance is 120 meters. That means the object traveled 120 meters. Next, displacement. Next, find out the displacement. Displacement formula, we know the formula of displacement. Displacement is equal to final point minus initial point. Displacement, what is the displacement definition? The shortest distance between the initial point and final point we call displacement. So here final point P point. The object initial point is O and the final point is P. The object traveled from O to Q, then after Q to P. So the final point is P point. So final point is P minus initial point is O point. P is equal to, on the scale, 40 minus O, 0, 40 minus 0, and is equal to 40 minus 0 is equal to 40. This is the meters displacement. We measure in centimeters and meters. See, observe this distance value is 120 meters. displacement value is 40 meters. What we have learned there yesterday, the displacement is always less than or equal to distance. So here the displacement value is less than the distance. And see, this distance value is positive. Distance value is positive. It is always positive, never negative. And the displacement value is either positive or negative or equal to 0. Okay, na? Displacement here positive value. Okay. Second problem. See, if an object, observe this scale, same scale like that. If an object travels from O to Q, one object is traveling from O to P, and then P to O, and then again it comes its initial position. First initial position is O, and again it comes its first position. Initial means first position. What is the distance and the displacement? Distance means the total path traveled by the body. We call displacement. Total path O to P, again it comes P to O. So the sum of the length of O to P, P to O, we call here distance. Distance is equal to O to P, plus P to O. The object again, it comes to O position. So P O to P is the first. It travels from O to P plus P to O. O to P, the distance between the O to P is 60 meters. And the distance between the P to O is also 60. 60 plus 60 equal 120 meters. Meters is the units of distance. Displacement. What is the displacement? Displacement means the final point minus initial point. We call displacement. The shortest distance between the initial point and final point we call displacement. Okay, na? The initial and final point is same point. What the point? Low point. So this is became 0. 60 minus 60. The initial and final point is the same point. So it is the 0 meters. See here, the distance value is positive value and the displacement value became 0. That means the displacement, the last statement, what we call the last statement, displacement can be 0, either positive or negative. Here see this. Here we got a positive value. Displacement value is positive value. Here we got 0 value. Okay, na? And see, the displacement value is always less than distance. Here 0 is less than 120 meters. Okay, na? See, next example. Suppose on this meter scale, if on an object travel from 0 to P and then P to R, what is the distance and displacement? An object is travels from O to P, O here P, O to P. Then after it comes from P to R, What is the distance? Distance, we know the distance is total path covered by the body. The body at first travel from O to P. So OP plus Then after it comes P to R. P, R, the sum of the OP and PR we call here distance. OP, the distance between the OP is 60 meters plus PR, the distance between the PR from P to O 60 meters and O to R 60 meters. So total length of PR is 120 meters. 60 plus 120 is equal 180 meters. Next, displacement. Displacement means here initial point minus final point. Initial point where the object is start its traveling, that point we call initial point, starting point. Starting point is O. And final point where it comes, the object came, that point we call final point. That is the R. Final point minus initial point. Final point is R minus initial point is O. R minus O. R is the negative value minus 60. Here we are taking the displacement is a vector quantity. Vector quantity means it has some magnitude and direction. So direction is left side of the origin. Always we can take the left side of the origin negative values. Minus 60 minus O point at O there is 0. Minus 60 minus 0. So displacement is minus 60 meters. See children, observe this. Displacement value came negative value minus 60 meters and distance value positive 180 meters. That means, observe these three cases. This is the third case and second case, first case. Observe the second case and first case. The distance value always positive. See children, the first case, in first case, distance value positive 120 meters and second case, the distance value 120 meters positive value and third case, the distance value is positive 180 meters. That means the distance never be negative. It is always positive. Okay, now? See, first case, the displacement is positive 40 meters. It is positive. And the second case, in second case, it is 0. That means displacement either positive or 0 or negative. Third case, see, the displacement value is negative. That means it is the displacement value. The displacement is either 0 or negative or positive. Okay, now children, I hope you got an idea about the distance and displacement. And the formula of the distance and displacement is distance is always less than or equal to distance. Second problem on the distance and displacement topic. A car is moving along a circle of radius 7 meters. A car is moving along a circle of 7 meters. Find the distance and displacement taken by the car after that revolution. Okay, na? A car is moving. A car is moving. A car is moving along a circle of radius 7 meters. Circle of radius. Radius is R. R equal to 7 meters. Find the distance and displacement taken by the car after that revolution. After that revolution. Radius of the car is 7 meters. See, one car is moving around the circle. One car is moving around the circle. Moving around the circle. This is the circle. This is the center of the circle. And the radius of a circle is 7 meters. That means this is the radius of the circle. This is 7 meters. Find the distance and displacement taken by the car after that revolution. After that one revolution. Sorry, after the half revolution. Radius is 7 meters. The circumference of circle is, the total length of the circle is 2 pi r. It goes only half of the circle. The car moving along the circle. This is A point, and this is the B point. Okay, now the car moves from A point to B point. Then what is the distance and displacement? Distance. Actually, the circumference of circle is 2 pi r. This is the half of the circle. The car moved half of the circle from A to B. So 2 pi r into half. We got pi r. Distance is equal to pi r. The total length covered by the object is pi r. Pi means 22 by 7 into r means 7. 7 get cancelled, and this 7 get cancelled. We get 222 meters. And what is the displacement? Displacement means the initial point to final point. Initial point is the A point, and the final point is the B point. This how can we measure the displacement? At first we can noted the initial point and final point. Then after we can join the initial point and final point. The shortest length give to us displacement. So this length give to us displacement. From center to on the circle, this is the radius. Radius is r. R already given here, 7 meters. This is r. R plus r, 2r. Displacement is equal to 2r. 2 into r and r is 7. 2 into 7. 2 7 the 14 meters. 14 meters. Children, I hope all of you understood this topic about displacement and distance and the problems. Today, work. Solve the following problems. This is the today work. First question. An object traveled 1.5 meter along east direction, then 3 meters along south direction, and the south direction, and then it returned along east direction. Find the total distance and displacement. You know that geographical map. This is the 4 sides. This is the east and west. This is the north. This is the south. You can draw the picture. First of all, object traveling along east direction. East direction it travels. Then it east. Then the distance south. Then after it goes east, south, south. Then after it goes east. Find the total distance and displacement. This is the work for you. Second question. An object travels 3 meters along east direction and then 4 meters along north direction. Find the total distance and displacement. At first, object travels 3 meters. 3 meters along east direction. East direction 3 meters. Then after it travels 4 meters along north direction. North direction traveled 4 meters. Then total distance and displacement. What is the total distance and displacement? Do it. Okay. I'm going to sign out. Thank you to all for giving this opportunity.